welcome to the AVG Fantasy Football Podcast, Season 3, Episode 80. My name is Michael Marcanio. I'm here with Tyler Revelis, also known as It's Your Boy T. Give me that finger point, baby. Love it. I love it. Aerodynamic. Never heard of it. I've heard of it. And also walking into the studio as we speak, we have
stepping in 6'7", starting center for the AVG Fantasy Football Podcast,
Andre Navarro, also known as DJ Idiot.
Damn. Yo.
It's season 3, episode 80. We're talking start sits for week 14. We got a lot of good stuff to talk about. It's first week of playoffs. Pups is ready. All of us are ready. We got the dog in the office. But yeah, first week of playoffs, big deal. Hopefully you made it. Hopefully this entire episode will help. If you don't have time for the entire episode, go ahead and check in the description. There should be a table of contents, whether you're listening to audio or if you want checking us out on video on YouTube. That table of contents has timestamps for when we talk about all these players throughout the episode. So say you need some running back help, maybe some wide receiver help. Hopefully those guys will be listed below with and you can go and navigate through the episode that way. Timestamps are clickable on YouTube, so little advantage if you're a YouTube listener. Yeah, so go ahead and follow us on Instagram, Twitter. Ask us your questions if you have any. We've gotten a decent amount of questions as of late, so we've been trying really hard to get back to you guys all on that. Subscribe to us on the YouTube channel if you haven't already. Like this video if you're watching it on video on YouTube. Go ahead and like the video. Give us a 5-star rating and review on the Apple Podcast app if you haven't already. It helps us out big time. If you're subscribed already to the Apple Podcast app, go ahead and unsubscribe and resubscribe. It helps us out in the algorithm big time. So before we get started, a quick moment from our sponsor. Probably thinking to yourself, how did Michael teleport to a tropical beach setting? Well, I'm on vacation. You know why? Thrive Fantasy. Thrive Fantasy is a new DFS app for prop bets. They've streamlined the drafting process and eliminated the need to do unnecessary hours of research by using only top-tier athletes. Instead of this traditional salary cap format, you build your lineup around a list of prop bets. For each contest, you need to choose 10 of the 20 prop bets, plus 2 ice picks. Ice is in case of emergency picks that protect you from any late scratches or postponed games. Each unique prop has an over-under. So basically what it is, over-under, picking 10 players, whether or not they're going to go over under receiving yards, passing yards, things like that, rushing yards. So each time if you do over, if it's high, more chance of going under, you'll get more points for the under. I've been making extra cash. That's why I'm on vacation in Hukalaka Chica. Thrive Fantasy is a pretty sweet app. They're sponsoring the podcast. So if you sign up for Thrive Fantasy, you use the promo code AVG. You have to deposit between $20 to $50. They will match up to $50. So say you put in $40, they'll match you. You have $80 in the app now of credits to use and try and win throughout the year. I'm in the tropics. I'm getting a nice tan. I know I'm white as shit. It's my first day here, but I'm going to be looking good soon enough. And I'm able to afford this vacation because I make sweet fucking moves with Thrive Fantasy. All you got to do is beat other people using the app. You don't have to, beat Vegas. You have to just beat other people. Go ahead and try and check out the Thrive Fantasy app. If you download it, use promo code AVG. You'll be able to get some free credit, free money. Helps us out on the podcast, supports us. So go ahead, check out Thrive Fantasy. We're super happy to be working with them. If you love football, they do all their bets too. They actually have cricket on there, which is pretty nuts. So check out the Thrive Fantasy app. Use promo code AVG. Get in there, make some money, make us proud. Do what you do best. Back to the regular scheduled program. And then we're ready. Okay, so yeah, that's all I got for us on the intro. Let's get into it, boys.
Yeah.
Is there anything am I missing?
Nah.
Ow. So we're going week 14, starts and sits. We always go quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end. We have the highlights playing on YouTube with everybody we talk about here. So let's start us out with our starts for the quarterback position. We'll go quarterbacks. Bam. Justin Herbert. First start.
Damn.
First start. Here it is.
I like it.
You like it? I like it too.
I like it.
Yeah, I
Good
like
one.
it. Justin Herbert's my guy. Just kind of, just want to, restore the confidence that, Justin Herbert can do what he's been doing all season long. I know he's coming off back-to-back games where he's pretty much put up a duds. I mean, last week was really bad against the Patriots. They got blown out, 45-0?
Something like
I
that.
feel as though that was a fluke game. I don't know.
But I mean, it's like a perfect game script for him to be down by so many points. You would think, okay, this is, garbage time, just to get in the end zone. But, I mean, don't quote me on it, but I remember seeing a stat or hearing a stat saying, like, Belichick's never lost to a rookie quarterback. So you got to think it's one of the best coaches of all time against, even though, he was hot like Hansel, it's still one of the best coaches of all time. He, the secondary for the Patriots, Stephon Gilmore, Justin Jackson, McCourty, all those guys, they're still pretty really good. Yeah, they're pretty really good. So, but yeah, just a tough game for him right there. But yeah, I like Justin Herbert this week. If you're in the playoffs, I wouldn't be shying away from him. I'd have full confidence in throwing him in there and, just expecting what he's been doing all season long. I mean, prior to those dud games, he's had 20 or more points in 8 of the 9 games that he's played. And the matchup is just juicy. I mean, they're going to be at home against the Atlanta Falcons. I know they've been playing better since they fired Dan Quinn. I think it's, Raheem Morris, who's the
Raheem Morris.
Raheem Morris, the interim
fuck
coach.
with
So
him.
a defensive-minded coach. So, they've obviously turned it around there. But still, the Falcons aren't anything you're, shying away from. They actually give up the most points to the quarterbacks, and they're allowing the 5th most pass touchdowns to the quarterbacks. So, yeah, I like Justin Herbert in this game. I mean, you're dialing up Keenan Allen. I mean, you got Austin Eckler coming out of the backfield, and then maybe another guy later on when we get to the receivers.
Yeah.
I like that segue. That was perfect.
Yeah, great segue.
No, I agree.
Yeah, Justin Herbert, I think, even though he's a rookie going into the playoffs, I don't think it's too cute of a move. I think you're right. Comes back. Fantastic week 14. Believe it.
I like the Chargers in that matchup, too. +2. I think
Yeah.
it went down to +1.5, but Chargers money line.
Yeah,
Plus money.
like it. Big Ben Roethlisberger, I know. I know it seems like sometimes I'm always picking Steelers players, but I have faded Steelers players as well. I faded James Conner in the past. I faded Big Ben in the past. So I'm saying start Big Ben this week. The guy's throwing the past 2 weeks over 50 attempts per game. I know it wasn't the craziest amount of points last week, but I do believe that the Bills' defense is much worse than the Washington football's defense. Washington's pass defense last week, they're really, really good. So I think he bounced back. I think the Steelers win this game, actually, obviously. But yeah, that's not saying much being a Steelers fan. But I think you can trust Big Ben. He's got a lot of weapons. I just would love a quarterback in my fantasy playoffs that has a chance of throwing the ball 50 times. Sign me up. Four plus receivers that are all very capable. I think they're going to come back. They're going to fix the drop passes problem that they had last week. I think it's better time for the Steelers.
Better days ahead.
Yeah, I mean, in one of my leagues, I'm dialing on Big Ben as my quarterback. And like you said, he's throwing the ball so much. I mean, if these receivers could just catch and hold on to the football,
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
get paid
And
or
by
do
the
what
way-
they're paid to do, then yeah, there's just even more points for Big Ben.
With all these drops, Big Ben actually said this loss is on me, which I don't think it is, but I think it's mostly to injuries and the fact that they can't run the ball. But I like that he's taking accountability, and so he's going to adjust and make better options for these players. Maybe throw a little bit better passes that are more catchable. But
He's like,
yeah,
I'm going to throw him a little slower so these pussies can catch.
yeah, maybe I don't know.
Or I'm going to throw it to different guys.
Yeah, basically.
It's his fault. He knew they were going to drop it.
But yeah, so I like Big Ben going into Week 14. I think it's a fantastic start. This one's a little ballsy, but I like it. I like the energy. Phillip Rivers for Andre Navarro.
Also known as Felipe
Rios.
Yeah, I mean he's been doing good the last 6 games, 11 touchdowns, 3 picks. He's thrown at least 285 yards the last 4 games. In the last 4 games, no less than that. Him and T.Y. Hilton seem to be making a connection. It's weird. He's kind of doing speaking to the Chargers, he's using Naheem Hines like a little Austin Eckler. He's finding him in space, and I mean he doesn't have to push the ball downfield as much now. Excuse me. He can let these guys kind of catch the ball and run and do the yards after the catch thing. And like I said, I mean, 3 picks, 6 games, that's not very many mistakes, so you're not losing points when we're talking fantasy. So why not? Fire him up. Sneaker pick. I mean, not everybody has a fucking set it and forget it QB that's in the playoffs. I know that for sure. So, I mean, unless there's somebody else you like, but I'm just saying, Rivers is low key. Plus, plus, you want to get guys that play in domes too. So.
Yeah,
Instead of cold
dome in the
shit.
wintertime sounds pretty good to me.
Yes. So yeah, that's why. And we'll talk about another guy later. That's so weird. We paired them together.
Okay, well let's move on to our quarterback sits. We got this one's mine here. I got Baker Mayfield.
Oh, after last week's game, you're just gonna.
That's exactly why, actually.
That's the only reason. Nah, I'm just playing.
No, so Baker Mayfield. Hold on, let me get settled here. Browns going up against the Ravens. I think that a lot of people are going to think, they did. He killed it against the Titans. He's about to have this huge game again this week. I don't think that's the case. I think the Titans have like no pass rush. I think he had time. Look, I mean, we're watching this game right here. There's literally nobody around him. I'm going to be fading Baker Mayfield. If you're thinking about getting cute and playing him in the first week of playoffs, I'm going to say do not do that.
Oh, shit, you like that.
But, I mean, last week I said play Jarvis Landry. So, it's not like I'm trying to, like, I feel like there's this notion about me that I hate the Browns and whatnot.
Well, I mean, you're a Steeler fan.
I mean, right. But, like, it's not like – I'm just saying it's like I'll try and be less biased.
You're trying to be balanced in your
You
hatred.
play the Ravens, correct?
Yeah.
So with that being said, you said you faded him, but you said start Landry last week. He's coming off 2 pretty good games.
Yeah, and I'm going to be
now that they're not playing in the dome. I mean, not in the dome, in Cleveland with all the win and stuff like that. I didn't see who your receiver sits or starts were, but how do you feel about Landry?
So I didn't have him as a sit because I still think he's actually a decent decent flex option in PPR leagues, but I don't see him as a light it up. Like you have to start him. I think he's
set it, forget it.
Yeah, I think in PPR leagues it's like a decent start as a flex option, but besides that, I wouldn't be like super excited about playing Jarvis Landry.
Yeah, I think
against the Ravens.
I think
Ravens
the first
defense
week
is
of
good.
the season, he went 5 for 61. I think it was 5 catches, 61 yards. That was with Odell Beckham. So, yeah, I would still feel confident playing Landry in this matchup.
I'd say more PPR, I guess.
Yeah, PPR for sure.
I mean, Ravens defense is good, and and the Ravens in general seem like they're coming back a little bit too.
Yeah,
I think the Browns offense is, I don't know.
Just curious your thoughts on the receiving option.
Yeah. But yeah. All right, let's go on to your guys'. We got Derek Carr.
Yeah, I mean, kind of same thing. He had a good game last week too, so he balled. But no Josh Jacobs again. They're playing the Colts, which more of my reasoning of why I don't like Carr is for another person that I'll be fading later. I feel like they can just key in on a couple players and then eliminate, pretty much make them one dimensional because Devontae Booker didn't do much out of the backfield, so. I can see them just dropping back and letting them win through the ground. And if he's not effective, these guys are going to just be licking their chops when Derek Carr drops back. And they're not super strong in the receiver game. Henry Ruggs is a burner. So, I mean, maybe big play dependent, but I just don't see Derek Carr replicating what he did last week, even close. So.
Yeah, it'd be tough to trust Derek Carr.
Yeah.
With my playoff hopes on the line. It's win or go home right now. So
and he looked good last week.
You're not trying to get cute anymore, or try to play these on the fence kind of plays,
Well, people like to get cute in the playoffs. Like they try to find these matchups. Like, I mean, I love Art. He sat Rams D because he's like, oh, I got cute and I started someone else. I was like, unless you really unless you're willing to live with it, go with go with what should work. Use the names, but also don't fall for big names either.
The only time I think if you're in a spot, like I'm in a spot where I lost Gibson and I just really don't have an RB2, and it's like that in that scenario, it's like I'm going to shoot for the stars in that situation, but it's like in general, try and stay away from that,
For sure.
But yeah, let's go on to this is Tyler's sit. We got Matt Ryan.
Mateo.
Is this the week to sit him? This is him and Matt Stafford, the two Matts, dude.
Dude, I hate them both.
Are both the most insane quarterbacks to know when to start them and when to sit them.
Placemats just get stepped on. I hate them both.
Yeah, I'd be fading Matt Ryan. I really like the over in this game because I was thinking, okay, I liked Herbert as my start for the week. I figure, in LA, the Chargers are going to come out here and put up some points against the subpar Falcons defense. And, obviously Matt Ryan with the weapons, Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley, stuff like that, he can come out and kind of go blow for blow, and I like the over in this. And then you get the news today that Julio Jones is out. So one thing we've noticed is that when Julio Jones is not on the field, Matt Ryan is just not the same quarterback. I mean, and we've seen it with a lot of other, players. If Rodgers loses Devontae Adams, Michael Thomas goes down for Drew Brees. These guys just aren't the same in terms of, spreading the football around. You really need that elite playmaker here. But there's been 3 games on the season when Julio Jones has not played for the Falcons, weeks 3, 5, and 12. And in those games, Matt Ryan's point scores are 11, 7, and 14.
Damn.
So there's just no ceiling here for Matt Ryan. Now that I said that, he's probably going to come out and throw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, but I just wouldn't be willing to risk it. I mean, the Chargers' pass defense, they're pretty banged up. I mean, Derwin James has been out the whole year. They traded away Desmond King. But, I mean, Mikey Davis is there. We know Mikey Davis. Shout out Mikey Davis. They get Chris Harris Jr. back, and then Casey Hayward. I'm not sure if he's going to play or not, but he's still a legit corner.
For sure.
The Chargers have actually allowed the 5th fewest passing yards per game, only 215 yards they're giving up per game on the season. And then Matt Ryan, he's just been inconsistent. I mean, 4 of his 12 games, he's been over 18 points. So, I mean, that means 8 of the 12 games he's been under 18 points. I just don't like it. I don't see the ceiling here for Matty Ice. I'd be looking at other options if I could.
Yeah. You're right on the over under too. Is I feel like the Falcons are the sneaky team where you're like, oh, dude, this over's for sure gonna hit, and they always hit the under. What do you think that it seems like?
Right after what's his name got fired, yeah, because the first few weeks it was a goddamn. They were covering the over themselves. They were giving up 40 a goddamn game.
Yeah.
I think you told me you're like, dude.
They just stall when they get close to. I mean, that's why you see Young Hoku lead the league right now in points, where he's the number 1 kicker, because they are really good at getting to the 20, 25, 30-yard line, but then
they just choke in the red zone.
Yeah, then they flatline. So,
yeah.
And then when you have a guy like Julio Jones is not playing, I mean, that's not gonna be beneficial for the Falcons offense.
Yeah. All right. We'll move on to the running back position. We'll go on to the starts first. Who's first? I don't even know. Let's see. Oh, it's me. So first start here.
My brother.
I got
DeAndre.
Okay, so I got DeAndre Swift. So DeAndre Swift might not play, but I love this matchup against the Packers run defense. One of the worst in the league. One of the worst.
God damn it.
So whoever is the starter, I think if DeAndre Swift starts, you got to play him. And in the event that he does not play, I think you can trust Adrian Peterson to find the end zone against the terrible Packers defense. Packers defense allowing the 3rd most fantasy points to the running back position out of all the teams in the NFL. So, on the years, that being said, either DeAndre Swift or Adrian Peterson, whoever's the starter, I think light him up. I would not be playing Adrian Peterson if DeAndre Swift's in. That's how I'm looking at it. 1-2, 1-2, 1-2.
Gotcha, coach.
Bang, bang,
Gotcha,
bang,
coach.
bang, bang, bang.
Gotcha, coach.
But yeah, that's my start.
All right, we're gonna ride that thing then. Do that thing.
All right, let's go on to MG3.
MG3.
Confused the shit out of me when you texted me your starts.
Related to RG3.
Took me forever to figure out what you were talking about. Pups is.
I ain't gonna lie. For a second, I was like, "Who the fuck is MG3?"
Yeah.
And then I was like, "I'm gonna tell him it's Myles Gaskin the third."
It took me a hot minute to figure out you were
Myles
talking about
Gaskin.
Melvin Gordon.
I do like Myles Gaskin. I thought about throwing him there again as my start. It would have been the 3rd week in a row, but I feel like at this point, you need to just be dialing on Myles Gaskin. I feel like Myles Gaskin is like a locked and loaded RB2. You just got to stay for every week. But, yeah, Melvin Gordon III, I mean, he's been up and down all season long. So you might be, debating, do I play him, do I not? I guess just depending on the depth that you have at the position. But I do like Melvin Gordon this week. I think he can be a solid RB2 for you. I mean, he's coming off a monster game last week, 15 carries, 131 yards. And he just looked kind of like the
fresh.
Melvin Gordon that we
That
expect
held out.
him to be. Yeah. And it's a decent matchup. I know that it's in Carolina against the Panthers. They're coming off a bye, so they've had extra time to prepare. But, I mean, they are allowing 4.6 yards per carry, so that's nothing to shy away from. And then on Pro Football Focus, this offensive line versus defensive line matchup is in the plus side, favoring the Broncos offensive line versus the Panthers defensive line. And then, when you look at Phillip Lindsay and Melvin Gordon, obviously, they're splitting carries there. But in terms of, who's the pass-catching running back, it's Melvin Gordon. He's the one who's getting all the targets. He's the one getting all the passing down work. He'll be in there on third downs. The Panthers not very good in terms of defending the running backs out of the backfield. They've given up the 6th most receptions to running backs and the 9th most receiving yards to the running backs. So I think this game will be pretty competitive. So it's not going to get away from them where they have to abandon the run. So, yeah, I do like Melvin Gordon this week. And then when they get in close, you can get some goal line work as well.
He's going to find the end zone.
Yeah.
You heard it here first. Can we get a playoffs drop real quick?
Playoffs?
That's right. I feel like we missed it on the beginning. All right, we got here J.K. Dobbins.
J.K. Dobbins. Yeah, no.
Start him.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys watched last week when they ran for 600 million yards. Granted, it was the Cowboys, and I think Kyler and Tyler could have done the same. But
J.K. Dobbins was one of my starts last week.
Yeah, but, back-to-back games of 70 rushing yards and a touchdown. Like I said, Gus Edwards did his thing also. You can clearly see Mark Ingram's just more like the short yardage, move the chains type of thing. He's, you can see he's lost a step or 6. But, yeah, no, I like they're finally starting to utilize him a little bit more and more. And I think this could work to their benefit as far as, always having a fresh running back in there. If Gus Edwards wears him down, you can tell J.K. Dobbins is the best pure runner, but Gus Edwards is talented. But just through and through, I just like how they're utilizing him more. And, back-to-back games of 70 yards and a touchdown you'll take.
Yeah.
So
love it.
And the Ravens as an offense overall look good. Lamar Jackson seems to have gotten, a little bit of his swag back.
Yeah.
Just the combination of all those things leads me to believe.
Look at those combos.
Love
it, dude.
JK is no JK. He's no joke.
No, he's no joke.
He's no just kidding.
JK,
fire him up.
JK Dobbins. This one's crazy.
Young Giovanni.
All right, this is my start for this week. I got Giovanni Bernard going up against the Dallas Cowboys.
That's our pet werewolf. Don't worry about that.
Yep.
Keep going.
I don't know if it's even picking that up, but Gio Bernard is going up against the Dallas Cowboys. He hasn't been whoa, got to play him every week, but I think the Cowboys defense against running back position has been pretty bad. They're 2 away from the Packers, who I just was screaming about. Okay.
Yes.
So in that situation, sign me up. If I got a starting running back against a defense that's just giving it up like Claire, you know what I mean? Like,
I feel you, dog.
Fucking, I don't know. It's just he's just gonna get lots of red zone touches. I was gonna say something inappropriate, but I refrained.
No, you weren't.
I refrained.
Yeah,
Andy refrained.
I almost did Giovanni Bernard as one of my starts.
But you left it for Daddy.
I left it for you, Daddy, over there. But yeah, just some stats here. The Bengals have the 13th best run blocking line in the NFL right now, shockingly, actually. And then Dallas owns the 31st ranked run defensive line in the NFL.
That is a weird stat because it's like when Joe Burrow went out, everybody's talking about, they need to fix the line.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's a little bit different, but versus pass protection versus.
Yeah, I agree with. I like this one too, Mike. Right here. Like I said, if one of you guys didn't take it, I was
honestly feel it. Say his name, Gio Bernard.
Giovanni
Bernard. He has a dope mustache. What else could he ask for, dude? Sign me up. I'm thinking about it. It makes me tingle inside. In a appropriate way.
I feel like every year he seems to find a way to make an impact in fantasy. He
Yeah.
always whether I feel Joe Mixon or just he'll have a good game. I don't know. I feel
Whether
like
it wins you 2 weeks, wins you the playoffs, whatever it is.
I just feel like Gio Bernard finds a way finds himself in fantasy relevance.
He could be
more than any other backup, dude. I swear. I feel like
he could possibly be on the waiver, like a free agent as well in your league. Probably not, but it could be.
An Antonio Gibson owner, and you're struggling to find a replacement. Could be a nice little guy you can pick up off the waiver wire and slide right into.
Yeah,
could
be. All right, so Mike Davis, next one here. Carolina Panthers. No CMC in the first week of playoffs. I mean, boy.
Boy.
Yeah, I'm going with Miles Davis' brother, Mike Davis, here.
You got that?
Yeah.
But yeah, I like Mike Davis. Like Mike said, CMC ruled out again. Now it's his quad injury. I'm starting to wonder if maybe they just shut CMC down. I mean, he's dealt with the ankle sprain and then the shoulder, now the quad. It's like, at what point
it's a quad thigh? I don't even know.
You just paid him X amount of money. I mean,
what is the
Panthers'
Panthers'
At what point
record?
do you just say, hey, are we going to make the playoffs? Most likely not. Like, we got to think about the future and next season, and maybe just let this guy rest and get healthy.
That's how I feel about Julio Jones too. Like, he keeps trying to play every game. Bro, just fucking sit down for 3 weeks and let that damn body heal. Like, bro, every time he gets tackled, he gets up. He's like, oh, like he can't walk. I'm like, bro, do what they're doing to CMC.
He's old.
Bro, I mean, he's 30.
So old.
And I guess this last CMC injury, he was doing a workout like on his own, like either at home or like just by himself, and he tweaked it, like he got hurt. It's just like, I think, it's just take it as an L. Wash. This year's a wash. There's been him, Joe Mixon, Saquon. There's been a lot of
might as well be
Zeke's a wash. Yeah, there's been a lot of running backs this year where it's just like, just charge it to the game and come back next year.
For sure, yeah. With that being said, though, I do like Mike Davis in this matchup. I mean, if you got him, I know he's last couple games, or he had a stretch where he came out and he was like,
Hansel, so hot right now.
and then a couple games where he just was not as hot. But then, I mean, the last 2 games, 21 and 18 total touches. I mean, like I said, no CMC. DJ Moore's going to miss this game as well. He's on the COVID-19 list. That's just going to open up more options in the passing game for Mike Davis, a guy who's very capable. He's got multiple games of 5 or more receptions. And then the matchup's pretty decent right here. You got the Broncos, who are allowing the 7th most rushing yards a game. They're giving up 131 yards on the ground. I mean, extra time to prepare because they're coming off a bye. They're at home. And then the Broncos are tied 8th in terms of the most rushing touchdowns allowed as well. So, yeah, I like Mike Davis. And then one more stat here, #interesting stat. It says Mike Davis makes at least one defender miss on 25% of his runs. That's the highest rate amongst all running backs in the NFL.
Whoa.
It's pretty good.
Whoa, great.
I love Mike Davis. I think we see the Mike Davis that, when you first picked him up off the waiver wire, he was balling. I think that's the Mike Davis we get.
Great stat. Great stat. Great start. Mike Davis.
He has 52 catches out of the backfield, which is solid.
Yeah.
52 is a good number.
Sure is.
Let's go to the next start here. You got Duke Johnson Jr.
Another one pretty quick. Yes, they're playing the Bears.
Bears defense sucks, though.
Yeah, still playing the Bears, but Duke Johnson's been, I mean, he's not going to get, 20 carries a game, but his last 3 games he's averaging 4 catches for 30 yards. I mean, that's just 5 extra half-point fantasy points. I think you can find the end zone. Now that Fuller's gone, there's just more targets to go around. And now that, I mean, they don't really have that much to pass to. Was it Hansen last week? Fucking that white dude, the white receiver, had 95 yards. I mean, they're just pulling guys out. So I feel they can find ways to get him open in space, swing passes, screens, and still get him his 10 to 12 carries. I mean, I think you'll find the end zone and do you right. Not like that.
I feel like there's going to be 4 rushing touchdowns in this game.
Yeah, I mean,
You got David Montgomery on the other
Montgomery's
side.
finally back. Yeah, I think the game still goes under 46, but I think he's gonna find the end zone for
I don't
him.
understand how the Bears are underdogs at home against the Texans. It's
I
not
mean,
like
they
the
just
Texans
did
are
awesome.
the
They did
juggernaut.
lose the
I don't know.
Lions.
I love the Bears underdog this week. Sports betting wise.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it. Duke Johnson,
Duke Johnson, put him in.
he won't take a Dookie this
Duke, no
this
fluke,
week.
Johnson.
Duke, hey, no fluke Duke.
Listen, I ain't got no
No
Duke.
fluke.
Hey, my guys are no Dookie, and they're no joke in JK. Okay,
No joke, bro.
it wasn't set up to be that way.
Hey, he's
but
got good matchups against the Houston or against the Chicago Clays.
he might get 2 tree touchdowns. 2 tree touchdowns.
Is this a sit or is this a start?
This is sit at the end of the bench.
Okay,
Gurley,
sit. This is sit Todd Gurley.
yeah, I mean,
Did I do 2?
I feel like,
Yeah,
I mean, Gurley hasn't done well the last, 3 weeks?
His
I
knee's
mean, he's
been
been hurt
acting
finally.
up.
He's got that arthritic component starting to kick in,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Not arthritis.
It's not arthritis, though. It's starting to kick in. So I was about to say the Falcons are saving him for the playoffs, but they definitely ain't doing that.
That was one of the funniest things you said on here. Was you're like, how the fuck do you have an arthritic component but you don't have arthritis?
That's
It's
just like-
bro, you got arthritis.
Like I said, bro, it's like being like, I think boys are cute. It's a gay component, but I'm not gay. Anyway. for another day. Yeah, no. Oh shit. Yeah, just I don't feel safe. He's been touchdown dependent pretty much all year anyway. He just happened to have a nose for the end zone. So I would rather start other people. Like this is a situation where he's a name. Like don't let his name get you. There's guys on the waiver wire that I'd feel more comfortable with. There's just other guys in general that aren't, that Gurley name that I would feel comfortable playing. So if you have anybody that's better or even close to sniffing the field, I would go with him and avoid Gurley because Gurley can get you that 2 points again or 4 points. Like you don't need that in the playoffs. So
did you think 2 years ago you'd be saying start Duke Johnson and the next breath saying sit Todd Gurley?
Hell freaking no, coach.
And that's the way NFL works, coach.
And
short amount of years, coach.
Those damn arthritic knees, coach.
This guy was drafted in the first round back in the day. This year.
First or second round, for sure.
Second.
Yeah, tail end. Miles Sanders, you're saying sit him. Why?
So, yeah, I just kind of want to get your guys' input on this as well. Just, see. Because I feel like this is going to be one of those guys where it's, like you said, you drafted him in the first round, second round. If you're in the first round of your playoffs, you're thinking, Miles Sanders, like you might feel inclined, like I have to start him. But it's like, do you? I don't know. I'd be, if you take away his name and just kind of look at the numbers, I'd be a little wary on whether I wanted to start Miles Sanders this week. Those last 3 weeks, he's been held to under 10 PPR points. And the Saints defense has been balling lately. They're the number one defense over the last 5 weeks. They've held all 5 teams they've faced to under 17 points. They're allowing a league low 3.3 yards per carry, the Saints are, and they're allowing just 76 yards per game on the ground. That is the second fewest in the NFL. They're allowing the second fewest receiving yards in the NFL, I believe, too. So it's just a tough matchup right here. They've only given up 5 rushing touchdowns on this season. That's the fewest in the NFL. It's just not good. What do you guys feel? Are you dialing up Miles Sanders? I saw something, someone was saying, having Jalen Hurts is going to help because they run the RPO and that'll open things up compared to Wentz. But, the Saints practice every single week against a quarterback who runs the RPO and Taysom Hill. So it's not like this is something that they're just like, they're going to walk out.
How do we
defend
this?
Oh, my God, RPO, what is that?
Yeah.
That's literally what they've been practicing against the last couple weeks with Taysom Hill. So I don't see how that really factors into it.
Yeah.
So, depending on who you got, I'd be trying to get away from Miles Sanders. What do you guys feel about it?
I'm right there with you. I think Miles Sanders is not who I want to trust in my playoff games against the Saints defense. The Saints defense, like you're saying, is really good. They're real. They're alive. They're like Woody from Toy Story, dude. Nobody realizes it, but the Saints defense is it's alive and well and moving around and making mouth noises. It's not a very good analogy, but
you're right. Yeah,
I'll try again next time.
I agree a little bit. I think the Eagles haven't. The last 2 games only 16 carries combined. His last 4 games only 3.5 targets a game.
What's his snap percentage been the last couple weeks? Has it been going
low.
down or?
His last 3 games, 60, 62, and 56. So they're not even really using him. They're not. Last game he had 1 target. Weeks 2 through 6, he was getting 7, 8, 4, 4, 2. 7, 8, 4. He was averaging 5 a game, but right now it's not. They're not really. He's not really getting the ball at all. Handing it off to him or passing it to him. I like that Jalen Hurts is in, so they're going to use the running game. That's like a rookie quarterback's best friend. But the Saints are tough. I don't expect 20 from Miles Sanders, but I feel like you'll be better than 3 and 5 and 6.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're just not doing a good job of getting him the ball. But the fucking Saints D's are real. So
there's too many red flags, too many question marks.
If you have a better matchup, you wouldn't be crazy. I wouldn't think you're crazy to do it. But the Eagles do have to do a better job of getting him the ball.
One thing I can say about Miles Sanders is I know there's been a couple games in the past this season where it's been a tough matchup, and you're thinking like, I don't know if I should play him or not, and he breaks off like a 70-yard touchdown run, and like that literally saves his day. I think it was against the Steelers.
Yeah, Steelers.
The Steelers one game, I think he had like 11 carries for 90 yards.
For 80 yards.
And he had like a 75-yard run or something like that.
Yeah.
So it was like that was all of his, his production. So obviously the guy's talented and he's capable of breaking off a big run at any given point in the game. But I would say most factors are weighing against him. to put up a pretty big stat line this week. So
they are.
And plus, they got Jordan Howard off a waiver wire. Miami cut him. They brought him to the active roster last week. So, I mean, for all we know, when they get close, do they bring in Jordan Howard? Because Jordan Howard was actually pretty productive for the Eagles. So, Peterson obviously likes Jordan Howard. So, I mean, that's another scenario, too. Does he get snaked on the goal line carry? Some Jordan Howard, Jalen Hurts. Yeah, I just don't like it.
Yeah. Understandable, Couch.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I'm not a fan. I think you can still flex him, but I don't think it's like a must start. That's where I'm at on it.
Sorry.
Like you're saying, if you have better options, for sure, go for it. How about Ty Johnson, New York Jets running back?
I think Frank Gore's gonna play. So this
Ty Johnson.
be
Well,
just
you
the
said
Jets running backs in
Yeah, you
general?
said Jets running backs. I
Yeah, I
threw
just
Ty
said
Johnson in here. I wasn't sure what you wanted me to put in there, but
That's
sure, just clarify.
Yeah,
it.
I think that's why I did it. I mean, you have Ty Johnson. You had Josh Adams look good. He had like 75 rushing yards. Frank Gore. I mean, yeah, there's just too many mouths. You don't know who's gonna be getting the rock. And in the playoffs, the last thing you want is to put in a guy and then watch it be a committee, and then you're just fucked. So if I had seen maybe a couple more weeks of Ty Johnson, then I wouldn't be saying it. But right now, I'm just more reluctant to start any of them just because you don't know who it could be. Because it could be the hot hand. Maybe, Ty starts the game and then Josh Adams comes and takes over. So it's too up in the air for me.
yeah,
That's all.
I'm with you on that. It's like, do you really want to start a Jets running back
I don't.
in playoffs?
Seahawks run defense is actually really good. The Seahawks struggled against the receivers. You could throw on them, or in the past you've been able to throw on them. They've been getting better, but one thing that's been pretty consistent for the Seahawks defense is they've been very good against the running backs.
Yeah.
Run defense. The run defense has been really good. The Seahawks has.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right, this is my
We'll let
sit.
this bear out real quick.
Yeah, for sure. Let this bear out. Roommate's dog.
We have a pet bear.
Yeah, pet bear.
His name is Tiger.
Yeah, so this is my sit for this week. We got Raheem Mostert for the 49ers.
Okay.
The Washington football team's defense is pretty dang real, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And it's not like I think it's a little different from last week because the Steelers didn't really have James Conner, who's kind of like their bruiser back. It's not really like a situation where you're like, oh wow, they really stopped this like heavy running team. So that does, like, you might think, oh, that was a situation, but Washington's defense is good. They're only allowing 14.5 fantasy points per game to the running back position. And when it comes to the Niners running backs, it's like I never know. There's always on such a rotation. I never know who's going to be the guy. I think Raheem Mostert's the most talented running back, but he's not someone I'm looking forward to going up against a top 5 rated running defense against fantasy points. I'm going to look elsewhere. I don't know if you agree. You're a Niners fan. Maybe you could tell me.
Well, no, I mean, same thing. I mean, everything you said, I mean, it's.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because Jeff,
gross.
you have Mr. Jr. in there. You just don't know.
Yeah.
Same thing.
It could be a Jeff Wilson Jr. game. You never know.
It could be it could be a collective. Now, could they collectively run for 200 yards on 30 carries? Yes, but it's just you don't know who it's going to be.
Yeah, and who's going to fall in the end zone.
Yeah, exactly. So
they're going to throw it to the running back position.
Hell, Jusewich could get a goddamn touchdown for all we freaking know, Coach.
Yeah, Coach. I'm not sure, Coach.
So I'm cool off that.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right, next sit, we got Devontae Booker. Josh Jacobs. What's the status on Jacobs?
He's pretty much a hoe bag.
Yeah, he came back to practice. He was practicing in a limited fashion, so we'll see if he plays or not. I would bank that he does come back and he ends up playing, but even if he does come back and play, how effective is he going to be? Do they just kind of give him that Josh Jacobs workload of 25 carries a game? I don't think so, because I think they kind of ease him in and they split it down the middle with Devontae Booker. I mean, even when last week when you're thinking, okay, I can get Devontae Booker, he's going to get me 20-something carries, he's going to be the main guy there. It wasn't. Sandwich. He only played 42% of the snaps. You had Jalen Richard get involved a ton. I think Jalen Richard is more of the receiving back there. So, I mean, even if Jacobs does miss, it's not like this is the Devontae Booker show and that's it. I mean, he's still splitting snaps with Jalen Richard. And then it's a tough matchup against the Colts defense. I mean, in the games when DeForest Buckner has played, they're only allowing 68 rushing yards per game, only 3.5 yards per carry a game, and only 6 rushing touchdowns allowed. Yeah, DeForest Buckner, Darius Leonard, I just don't like it. I mean, I just don't see the ceiling here for Devontae Booker. I mean, like last week you were expecting him to come out and put up a good game against the Jets. And, I mean, if he couldn't get it done, being the guy against the Jets, how could I have any kind of confidence in him in the first week of the fantasy playoffs that he's going to get it done against one of the best defenses in the NFL against the Indianapolis Colts? So, yeah, I'd be fading Devontae Booker in this one.
Yeah. So it wasn't the waiver wire ad everybody thought it was going to be.
I mean, apparently, collectively, we don't think the Raiders are going to do very well this week.
Yeah, Derek Carr.
We still got another one coming.
Barstool would agree. I disagree. I mean,
wait, who's the other one? Did I miss it?
No, he's coming up, you fucking rad tad.
Oh, in the wide receivers?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, in the next position.
Oh, that's right. I was like drawing blanks. I thought I forgot to add somebody in our templates. All right, let's go on to the wide receivers. That was our sits for the running backs. We're on to our starts for the wide receiver position. Let's go first. Jamison Crowder. We got
the clam chowder.
Crowder. Denzel Mims. He's out. Denzel Mims. No more. Where is that going? Where are the targets going? We got Frank Gore. The running game should be pretty dynamic with Ty Johnson, Frank Gore going. Like in the fact that it's gonna you're gonna spread the ball around, distract, I guess you could say. That way, Seahawks defense is not good. Their passing defense. They've gotten better, but I still don't trust them. Jamison Crowder in PPR leagues, especially. I think you can start him this week. Wide receiver. I think he finishes top 15 this week. You heard it here first. Top 15, Jamison Crowder. If you don't play him, I'm playing him in a league.
If you don't play him, you're playing yourself.
Yeah, if you don't play him, you're playing yourself. And here's the thing. If you don't play him, you're playing yourself.
And don't play yourself.
Don't play. Hey, what, do you not like yourself?
Don't fucking play yourself.
Well, play with yourself, maybe.
Yeah. If that's all, then that's it.
I like it.
Okay.
Hey, I know we had this talk before. I'm still convinced that Sam Darnold's good.
Are you?
Yes. I think Sam Darnold needs to go to the 49ers.
Bro, you know what I was talking about?
Why is everyone so fucking stupid?
Think about it. Hey,
I think you're not wrong, though.
Dog, he's 23 years old, and he's athletic as fuck, dog. They just have Adam Gase.
And
I've seen him make so many good throws. He needs to go somewhere else. I think he should go to the 49ers. I would take him over Jimmy Garoppolo.
He never dated a girl named Claire ever once in his life.
No, but he has a cousin named Claire.
He did get mono from a girl named Blair, though. But here's the thing is I think you're right. I think that
he needs a change of scenery, dude.
Check this out. I think that Adam Gase is on I think this is true, is that Adam Gase is, I heard this somewhere, I can't remember, but I think Adam Gase is in on the whole tanking for Trevor
100%.
thing, because why they're not afraid to fire coaches. They fired Greg Williams, or the defensive coordinator, last week.
Yeah.
So they're not afraid to fire him. I think that he's in on it.
They know he's on board with the organization 100%.
They got rid of Bell for him.
They
got rid of he didn't like the defensive coordinator.
No, 100%.
I think I think it's true. I think the Jets will
he's still young enough, right? Think about it. Joe Burrow's 23 years old. Like, this dude Sam Darnold's been in the league.
That's nuts.
He knows the game speed. Like, dog, this kid, I don't know. That's just me. Either go to like the Colts.
Kind of sound like a USC fan.
I mean, I am a USC fan, but even his last year at USC was actually ass because they didn't have anybody.
Like 20 picks.
Dude, yeah, they didn't have anybody. Everybody had fucking went to the NFL to suck.
All right, enough about Sam Darnold.
But yeah,
but I think
but Jamison Crowder is good because that's the only person that Sam Darnold that has chemistry with.
Yeah,
that's what I was alluding to, because Jamison Crowder is good.
I can't believe I'm saying it. Adam Gase, he might turn around there. All right, start Corey Davis. Whose is this?
This is me right here. Start Corey Davis. He's probably available. I feel like we talk about him every single week on the waiver wire.
He's a great number 2.
Doesn't get picked up at all. But I mean, last week he was the number 1 wide receiver overall. Last week he put up a monster game. It was like 181 yards and touchdown. I mean, the guy's just been so consistent. He's had 10 or more PPR points in every single game except one. That was the game against the Chicago Bears. We puts up a goose egg, but I mean, you guys that Ridley's put up a goose egg. Will Fuller put up a goose egg. You know, those guys that each and every week they were balling. You didn't shy away from playing them just because they did that one week. So
yeah.
And then this is kind of interesting right here. So I mean, when you think of the Titans, you think, okay, AJ Brown's the 1, and then Corey Davis is the 2. You're thinking A.J. Brown's like got to be like a top 10 wide receiver, and Corey Davis maybe top 30. But on the season in ESPN and PPR leagues, A.J. Brown, wide receiver 23, Corey Davis, wide receiver 26. So they literally are 1A and 1B, but it's like everyone's goo gaga, like in love with A.J. Brown, and they should be because the guy's a savage. But nobody's showing any kind of love to Corey Davis. I mean, I get it.
He really turned it around.
It's taken him 5 years to get it done. But I mean, the guy was the former fifth overall pick.
Yep.
I mean, and then the matchup is just money. I feel like the Titans lately, they just own the Jaguars. I mean, Derrick Henry is probably going to run all over them.
He might run for 600.
That's what he does every time. But in return, that'll just open up the play action, which Tannehill and the Titans love to do, and Tannehill really good off the play action.
Tanny and the Titans.
Jacksonville's pass defense is just terrible. They've allowed the second most passing touchdowns, and they've allowed 279 passing yards a game. That's the fourth most in the NFL. So, yeah, I'd be dialing up. I'm dialing up all my Titans. I'm dialing up Tannehill. I'm dialing up Jonnu Smith if he plays. I'm dialing up Corey Davis, A.J. Brown, and obviously you're dialing up King Henry right there.
A little bit of foreshadowing with the Jonnu Smith.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the next start. We got Amari.
All right, whatever. I'll go.
Not Cooper. Do you want me to go first?
No, you're good. I'll fucking, dude, listen. Have you ever fucking freestyled before?
Oh, I freestyle, dude.
Oh, then.
Well, so
right,
they're going up. You got Cooper against the Bengals. I mean, it's a great matchup.
Yeah, no. So, I mean, last 4 games, he's getting you double digits in half-point PPR. He's seeing no less than 6 targets in any of the last 4 games, no less than 5 catches. I mean, he's even with once Shmandy Dalton came back from COVID and that concussion. Sorry, that hit was just so funny. But Amari Cooper looks good. I mean, he did have that garbage time tug last week, but the week before that, 6 for 112 and a tug. The week before that, 6 for 81. I mean, he's definitely serviceable. He's probably a low-end wide receiver too, I'd say. But he's got the
At least
upside.
a flex option for you.
Yeah, they're playing the Bengals. I mean, what better chance or opportunity to get you 100 in a tug? I think he's going to get you
revenge game for Andy Dalton.
Yeah, against his old team. So I think Amari's going to get you. I think he's gonna pay off for you this week. I mean, I think CeeDee Lamb looks good. I think overall the Cowboys offense is going to do their thing. I think this could be one of those high scoring games because they both wouldn't know what a defense was if it sat on their face. So that is why. But Amari's talented regardless of who's throwing him the ball. I mean, he's going to get open. It's just a matter of if you can find him. So, yeah, I would say dial him up and be ready to get you about 15 to 20 points. I would say. I think he gets at least 80 in a tug. So
I realized what I messed up on. My bad, dog.
You're good. Cole Beasley's a beast.
Yeah. I'm throwing it in here so you can talk about it.
Yeah, I got it quick. He has 66 catches on only 82 targets this year, which is actually pretty fucking wild.
I think I saw something. He has the highest catch percentage in the NFL for certain players. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and he just broke the record. This is funny. I saw it on Good Morning Football. Shout out Good Morning Football. He just broke the record for this last game against the Niners. He is the leading touchdown receptions leader all time for players 5'8" and under all time. He just passed Darren Sproles, I guess. So I mean, doing his thing. 28 targets last 3 games, averaging 88 receiving yards. He's becoming more of he's like a 1A, 1B with Diggs. He's out there eating. He has 4 games of over 100 receiving yards. He's a number 20. He's a number 20 wide receiver in half-point PPR leagues, and he's been all over the waiver wire up until 3 weeks ago.
Yeah. How many? No, John Brown on IR, so it just opens up more targets to go the Beasley's way. Yeah,
and Gabriel Davis is more of and it's weird. He has 5 catches or 25 catches, 5 touchdowns, so he's more touchdown dependent. So where Cole Beasley, I mean, he's on pace to get you about 80 catches this year for about 1,000 yards. So
I have a question.
I have an answer.
How many wide receivers are 5'8" and under in the NFL?
There isn't many right now.
So it's I'm just thinking of that.
And think about it. And think about it. 5'8" on paper that the NFL writes, because the NFL be giving inches. You know what I mean?
They definitely do.
So Cole Beasley's like a true 5'8".
Yeah, Marquise Brown weighs maybe 2 pounds.
Yeah. And they say he weighed 200 or 1 something. Get the fuck out of here.
190,
180 maybe soaking
He's
wet.
160, dude.
Soaking wet in a denim suit, maybe. But
all right.
Yeah. But Cole Beasley, he could be a league winner. So
definitely. I screwed that up, man. I've totally forgot.
You fucking didn't. We just freestyled it, dude. Come on,
You're right. You're right. We're on the fly. Blah 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 blah. Zing. All right, my start here, Antonio Brown.
I love this start right here. I was thinking about him too.
Dude, so going up
he's pretty
against
good.
well, it's like I
No, I'm
wanted
just
to
kidding.
put Bucks receivers, but I feel like Chris Godwin and Mike Evans are somewhat of a given. But I really do think this matchup against the Minnesota Vikings is great. It's in Tampa Bay, great, probably decent weather. Vikings defense is not. It's not what we like to call it horny.
A leaky faucet.
It's not horny. It's not a horny defense, okay? They're just giving it up like Claire, third worst against fantasy points per game to the wide receiver position, 28 points per game. Yes, this could go to Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, but I think you're going to be happy going into the game, especially PPR leagues. I think you should be happy if you're getting over between. I think he gets 15 points at least this week. I think that's what I'm going with. PPR leagues, 15 to 20 points. I think at least 15 points in a half-point PPR. Light it up. Antonio Brown, wide receiver. Yes, that's what I like. That's the shit I do like. Vikings defense, not good. Giving up 19 touchdowns to the wide receiver position on the year. That is the second most in the league. That's a lot.
Yeah, I like AB. I mean, like in PPR especially, I know last week he didn't have a good game, but I mean, prior to that, the other two games, he's putting up some solid PPR numbers. I think he had 13 points pretty much back-to-back games.
Yeah,
I think it gets you that safe floor of 13.
And Brady loves him.
Yeah.
So ride it with me. Ride me. No, don't ride me. But ride with me on the Antonio Brown hype train.
Just another random question.
What?
Do you think they keep all three of them next year?
No.
No. Do you think so? Which one goes?
I think they're
Mike Evans?
I think this team falls apart next year.
They could potentially franchise tag Chris Godwin. I think AB has nowhere else to go. I think he's kind of like, hey, this is where who else is going to pick him up? Obviously, the only reason he went there is because Brady.
Yeah,
but
Brady
I think he's a good enough receiver that if they could keep him. Godwin's on a contract year, so it's like, does he want to get paid? Do they franchise tag him? If they franchise tag Godwin, then they'll probably keep all three. But
because they got Scotty Miller and Tyler Johnson still. So
me and you, we like Tyler Johnson a lot.
So it's like, man,
they
they have
out of Minnesota, so
their receiver room is just so fucking crowded. And I'm like, dude, I don't know how they can pay them all. I was just wondering because I think they're gonna let Mike Evans go.
Yeah, my brother, we're Dolphins fans. He really wants Chris Godwin.
Yeah,
the Dolphins. So I mean, who knows? Maybe if they don't franchise tag him, he wants to get a nice little payday. Dude. Maybe he does. Maybe he stays in Florida. Bro. He just goes a little south.
I just read doing mocks that just for later, but I saw that the Dolphins are going to get Rashad Bateman. He's a fucking monster at wide receiver. So I hope he goes to the Dolphins because he would be the number one. He would just eat.
Yeah.
So that's for another day. He's a beast. He's like AJ Brown. But anyway. Later on.
Let's go on to this is a start here, Mike Williams.
Yes, this is my start. And,
Mac. Come on, Big Mac.
Big
Mac. I said it earlier when I was talking about Justin Herbert. I said there'd be someone later on we talking about. So
this is it.
This is it right here. Now, before I get going, he is boomer bust. So you're taking a gamble here, whether but that's what he's been all season. He's been a guy who come out and get you 20 plus points, or he's going to get you under 5 points. So I mean, you are rolling the dice here. You are taking a gamble. I mean, for example, I'm in a league where I'm going against, a guy. He's got a pretty good team. He had Cam Akers going Thursday, so he's already up to a good lead on me. Should be a good matchup, but I'm just like, hey, do I go for the guy who's okay? This guy can get me 5 for 50 and a touchdown. Maybe get me 16 PPR points, or do I go for the guy who can get me 100 yards and 2 touchdowns off 5 catches and get me like 30 burger? Yeah. I'm gonna shoot for the fences with a guy like Mike Williams here, and the matchup is money. Everything I said with Justin Herbert. The Falcons' pass defense, not very good at all. I think Herbert has a massive bounce-back game.
Yep.
And then hashtag interesting stat right here. The Falcons have allowed the most 20-plus yard receptions in the league. And when you think of what Mike Williams is, he's the field stretcher. He's the guy who goes deep. He's actually has the 7th highest yards per catch at 15.9 yards per reception. That's the 7th most, like I said, for players who have 50 or more targets. I mean, go get Mike Williams. And here's the thing, too. I think I said it when we were doing the waiver wire episode. It means 38% available in ESPN leagues. Even if you're like, okay, he is boomer bust. I don't want to play him. I don't want to take that gamble. I just don't like that. Go pick him up and throw him on your bench. Because the last thing you want to see is you go to check your matchup
and they get him.
And your opponent has Mike Williams in his lineup and he puts up a 20 burger, a 30 burger, and you're thinking like, are you fucking kidding me? Mike Williams just scored 30 points on me. You're going to be pissed. I'd rather have Mike Williams score 30 points on my bench than 30 points against me. So,
100%.
I mean, at least you probably got a roster spot you could burn. I go get him and just, throw him on my bench. That way, at least he's not going to do me any harm. My opponent can go out and grab him potentially. But yeah, I do like Mike Williams. I'm gonna take the gamble this week on him. Then he comes out and puts up a big stat line for you.
Hey, if you're a gambling man,
I agree.
Put in
Coach.
Mike Williams.
I agree.
Update. By the way, Jamison Crowder didn't practice today, so there is a chance he's out.
Well, then fire up Tyler Ravellis.
Fire up Tyler Ravellis. Start T.Y. Hilton. I love this. We talked about him a lot on the waiver wire episode earlier in the week.
Yeah.
T.Y. Hilton.
I mean, yeah, kind of like T-Rev. I kind of did the QB wide receiver stack. So crazy. So on the season, he has 84 fantasy points. He has 37 of those 84 points in the last 2 weeks, which is wild if you think about it. It's like 45% in 2 weeks. Him and Phillip Rivers, it looks like it took him, 13 fucking weeks to figure it out. But I don't know.
Well, it's the same thing with Cam Akers.
Yeah,
it's the same exact thing.
For sure, because, I've never had T.Y. Hilton. Finally took him this year, and I dropped him after week 4. He sucked. But, back-to-back games, he has 12 catches for 191 yards and 2 touchdowns combined in the last 2 weeks. He's seeing 8 targets an average of 8 targets over the last 2 weeks. He looks good. He looks like T.Y. back when he was with Andrew Luck. And, their offense is moving. He's finding the running backs. And then T.Y. Hilton, he's finding him in the end zone. I think he can reward you with another one against a super leaky Raiders offense. So I expect T.Y. to find the end zone again, actually, for the 3rd straight week, believe it or not.
I really like T.Y. Hilton, especially against the Raiders. The Raiders allowed the Jets to score on them, put 27 points on them. So, that being said, fuck, I love it.
Yep, T.Y.
Yeah.
Get about.
T.Y., start him. This one is going to be my sit.
Keke
Coutee. Keke Coutee might be not playing, but if he does play,
he's not playing.
He's not?
No, I'm saying if he does play, he ain't playing.
Right. Yeah, don't start him. Texans going up against the Chicago Bears. Teams have been putting up some points against the Chicago Bears, but their pass defense is actually pretty good. What's the 4th best against fantasy points per game. And then Keke Coutee, I think a lot of people are going to look at this past week and be like, oh, this is the guy. But I don't think in this matchup this is going to be the guy. I think that it's going to be a rushing game. I think a lot of running points. And I think that the Texans pull ahead in this game. And I think that they're going to get away from the passing game a little bit. So that being said, I'm fading Keke Coutee. I think this might, if anybody's going to do well in this game, I think maybe Brandon Cooks. But that is my perspective on that. So
I ain't mad at you.
Sit. We got Eagles receivers. I didn't know who you wanted me to put in here, so I put the Eagles banner. So who do you got for Eagles receivers fading this week?
I'm finna fade all of them boys. Alshon, trash. Fulgham ain't done shit since Reagor came back. Reagor looked good. He had that punt return that sparked him. It's just the Jalen Hurts thing. I want to see it. They're playing the number 1 defense. I still think it's fucked up. They're throwing him into the fire like that. But you know what? He is a vet. He's been through all kinds of shit at Alabama. So if anyone's going to be prepared for it, it's him. I just want to see it first. So another one, I don't want to get cute with any of those. I'd rather just sit back and watch. I wouldn't play any of them at all. Even the tight ends. Goddard was good because Wentz would, or even Ertz, he would pepper the tight ends with targets. But I watched Jalen Hurts. He threw a couple balls to the tight ends, not really though. He's kind of extend the play, scramble out, and look deeper down the field. But I just want to wait and see. So that's what I think.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I like Jalen Hurts. I'm excited to see what he could do. Like I said, it is a tough matchup against the Saints. But, when he got drafted, obviously it's a weird situation where they have Carson Wentz. But, for them to go draft him in the 2nd round, they obviously saw something in Wentz that they weren't too confident about going forward.
And something they like in Ertz, too.
Yeah. In Hurts is, I said it before, he's kind of like a poor man's version of Lamar Jackson. A guy who's built like a running back, but, he's arguably a better passer than Lamar Jackson. So I'm just curious to see what Jalen Hurts can do.
Yeah, me too.
And then see what happens next year. Obviously the cap situation with Wentz, they can't really cut him, but it's like, do they do you have this $27 million quarterback just sitting on the bench? I mean,
that's an expensive cheerleader, you know?
Yeah. So
Yeah, no.
it'd be interesting to see what they do. Maybe they try to trade him, move him, but then it's like, does a team want to pick up that contract? So yeah, it is a weird situation there, but
You know,
I agree with you. I'd be fading all these
I'm
receivers.
excited for Hurts because he's made a big jump as a passer. Remember when he first got at Alabama, like, oh, he can't really pass. Like, he's athletic, but then he got to Oklahoma, and he literally would have won the Heisman if it wasn't for fucking whoever just
Joe Burrow just going off.
Because he was balling, and he looked like he was great as a passer. So it's somebody you just root for.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to root for the wide receivers this week. So
Yep. We got DJ Chark.
Baby Chark this
Baby
week. He's
Chark.
been more of a baby Chark this year.
Yeah, he's been a baby Chark. I mean, he's been under 10 PPR points in 3 straight games. I mean, that's not trending in the right direction as we head into the first week of the fantasy playoffs. I mean, he just hasn't been the same without Minshew. I mean, who knows what's up with Minshew? I know he had the thumb injury.
My fingers hurt.
His fingers hurt. I
Nice,
mean,
nice.
they go to Jake Luton, and then you bring in Mike Glennon. Tall quarterbacks, they just work, right, Mike?
Yeah, Mike Glennon. Tall quarterbacks. Brock Osweiler. Tall quarterback.
Remember how paid Mike Glennon got too?
Yeah,
They
he
paid
did.
him.
Yeah.
But I just wouldn't feel confident. Like I said, he's coming off 3 bad games. I mean, the Titans' pass defense isn't anything you're like scared of, but I mean, they do have Malcolm Butler. They trade for Desmond King. Got a couple of good safeties there in Byard and Kenny Vaccaro. So I mean, it's not like they're terrible. I just don't like this, and we've kind of seen Glennon. I don't know if it's just he's used to playing with Colin Johnson, the rookie out of Texas. Obviously they're like second, third string guys, so maybe he just had more reps with him. But I mean, Colin Johnson, I think it was 8 and 6 targets in back-to-back games. So you're kind of seeing him get a little bit more incorporated as well. I just don't see the upside here with Chark. And I don't want to take the gamble of a guy who's not, like I said, he's not trending in the right direction. So I'd be fading DJ Chark.
Fade him. I like it. All right, let's go. Sit. This is my other one here. We got Brandon Aiyuk.
What, blood?
I know, crazy. Dude.
Hadouken! Ding.
I think you can still possibly flex him. I just do think that this front seven with Washington is really good. I think they're going to get a lot of pressure. Is Nick Mullins or
I think they're going with Nick Mullins.
Yeah.
And Nick Mullins has I want to say 10 turnovers his
Yeah.
last 8 starts or games. So,
I
he's,
really
he's
do.
apt.
I do think Washington can upset in this game, and I think that I think Brandon Aiyuk could find the end zone. Yeah, definitely. Maybe they chase a little bit. But I think it's going to be a competitive game. I think it's going to be low scoring. Just with the turnovers, and Washington is not like the most explosive team. So that being said, I'm going to be fading Brandon Aiyuk. I think you could maybe flex him in a PPR league, but I'm not excited about this wide receiver for the first week of playoffs. I think I would be looking elsewhere.
No, for sure.
Yeah, it's just like
#
sketch.
It's just, I mean, and the Washington football team, like you said, they are a good pass defense. I'm still not sold fully on them, but I mean, they did their thing against the Steelers, but it's like, did they really though? Because they dropped 50-11 passes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like.
And you know what I mean? This is what I tell people. I'm like, they just played the Steelers who dropped all these balls, and they've played the Eagles twice and the Giants twice. So it's like, but their front line. I mean, I remember we talked about it before the season. Their D line was going to be good, and we said it was.
And
then
then once they got Chase Young, it's just like
with Chase.
Chase Young's so good.
I remember saying they're like going to be like the 49ers this year, like with just like a good D line. They don't have to blitz, so they can drop back 7. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Ayuk's a rookie. He's doing good. I agree with that, like you said. But just this week, like you said, just don't get cute.
But by the way, you see ASU just beat U of A 70-7.
Was it 77?
70-7. Yeah.
And that's so Arizona's
They
0-5.
just covered the over themselves.
Jesus.
Yeah.
God.
That's pretty wild because it's just like, I don't know.
That's a
pretty
rivalry game. You would think you want to get that shit close.
Yeah. I mean, it was -10, but that's, they're not afraid to put these lines at like -30 and whatnot. I think Arkansas is like -30.
Well, I bet you that's
Or plus 30.
whoever took that.
Alabama.
That's the easiest money they've ever made.
Yeah, I did a parlay, but I accidentally added I added Arkansas on it on accident.
Oh, not Arkansas
Against Alabama. It was on accident. This one's sit Michael Pittman. Is this one yours?
No, it's T-Rev.
Oh, okay.
But,
I mean, we could answer it for him.
Yeah, I mean,
Michael Pittman, I think he might be looking.
T-Rev's getting ready for a hot date. So he's getting ready. But look at dude.
Wow.
Hey, watch out, dude.
Pizzazz.
Hey, Tyler Swahili for Mr. Steal Your Chick.
Tyler Ravelis, also known as Mr. Steal Your Girl.
He's about
I'm sitting Michael Pittman right here. I think everything kind of just what Dre said with T.Y. He's been trending in the right direction. Michael Pittman not trending in the right direction. I mean, is there a possibility that he comes out and he puts up a good game? 100%. But we've seen the emergence of T.Y., and I just don't like that. I mean, it could be a big T.Y. game. I mean, do they get out and kind of, dominate this game? Maybe they're running a little bit more. You go run heavy. Does Rivers only go for 250 and 2? So it's like, what's the upside Michael Pittman does? So I'd just be willing to go with some other options, especially with how deep the receiver position is. I'd be going with some other options there. I agree with you. I think if there's one receiver I'm playing, obviously is my sit. I'd be playing T.Y. Hilton over Michael Pittman.
Nuts.
Which is crazy because 3 weeks ago I wouldn't have touched T.Y. with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah.
Being held by Michael Pittman.
Nuts.
Nuck and futz.
I do like Michael Pittman in fantasy or just future in general. So, but not this week.
That's a good luck.
All right, let's move on to the tight ends. Week 14. We're going to the starts first. For the tight end position, we got first up Bazinga. He's going homer pick. Mike.
Some like
Gesicki.
him. Some don't. Tyler loves him. Why?
Tyler said, you did say earlier in the year that Mike Gesicki's dead to you. I'm never playing him again.
Well, when you do what you did last week.
But here he is. He's starting him in week 14, first week of playoffs. Light up Mike Gesicki.
Hey.
Light him up. Yeah, I mean, we're kind of seeing.
Like a Matchbox car.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen, obviously, in the games where Gesicki gets targeted, I think it's like when he gets targeted like 5 times. The guy puts up some solid numbers. I mean, he's not the most dynamic player in terms of route running and creating separation, but what he is good at is making these crazy catches. I mean, if you saw it last week, he makes this. He's pretty much doing the Air Jordan logo where he's extending all the way out. And he just palms the football, and he takes a brutal hit, but he holds on to it. I mean, the guy, he gets a touchdown for you, so he's a great red zone weapon here. I mean, he had 9 catches, 88 yards, and a touchdown last week on 11 targets. Yeah. And I think it's just a big correlation. We kind of saw it towards the tail end of last season when
he balled.
When there was no Preston Williams, it was Devontae Parker, and then Mike Gesicki's the next best pass-catching option on this Dolphins offense. And we're back to that, square one in a sense in 2020. You got Devontae Parker, but then after that it's you got Jakeem Grant. But, I mean, outside of them, it's Mike Gesicki who's the next guy. And like
maybe you could Smythe.
Great red zone option right here. And I'm just thinking, I mean, they're playing against the Kansas City Chiefs, and this is going to be a real test, especially as a Dolphins fan. I'm really excited to watch this game just to see how our defense can do against these Super Bowl champs and that high-powered offense.
I'm excited to see that.
Obviously, Dolphins defense has been balling. Xavier Howard's, leading the league in interceptions. We're top 10 in pressure rate, top 10 in sacks. We've had a turnover 18 straight games. So the Dolphins defense has been balling. But, I mean, it is Mahomes. It is the Chiefs, so I'm expecting them to put up some points. And I think if Miami wants to contend and keep up with the Chiefs, Gesicki's going to have to be a large part of why, they're moving the football because Devontae Parker can't get the ball every time. Our rushing attack is okay. But, I mean, we're going to have to rely on
Tua Tagovailoa
and Gesicki to make some connections here.
Guy. Alkaline water.
And then, so I like Gesicki this week. I mean, especially when you get into these, back-end tight ends, after – I mean, Kelsey obviously is in a different area, but I mean, once you get past, the 5th tight end maybe, you get to 6 to 12, I feel like it's a crapshoot. And so just give me the guy who I think has the highest opportunity to, get me 50 yards and a touchdown. I think Gesicki's, got as good of a chance as any tight end this week to put that up.
But, I think that was the best catch of the year if DeAndre Hopkins didn't catch that game winner. Against the Bills.
Yeah, the D-Hop one's got to be, especially for the magnitude of what it was.
But style points, fucking give it to Gesicki all day.
That was a gnarly catch.
That was nuts, dude. I was watching the game with you. Crazy.
The more I watch the highlights, he reminds me of a Jimmy Graham.
No, not that one. That was just another one. That just shows you how he's
that's
just
another one. Oh. Yeah.
He doesn't drop.
It was on the
football.
corner, right?
If it hits his hands, he catches it. But he's never really open. He's always covered. He always gets tackled.
That was the most open he was right there.
But I mean, it's how many tight ends? I mean, other than the mains that are just wide open. I mean, he's a freak athlete. I mean, that fool. They just need to find ways to get him the ball more.
Yeah.
He needs to be getting 6-7 targets a game.
100%.
and just
Like,
know
every time.
how to
100%.
target him right.
Yeah, just line him up. He probably still bulk up a little bit just for the sake because he can do it. He's still young.
He's
but
just an oversized wide
Yeah.
receiver is what he is. I
But
mean, the Dolphins have 3 tight ends. They have Smythe and Shaleen, and those guys are the blockers. Those are the guys who are in when they run the ball.
Yeah.
So he's listed as a tight end, but like I said, he lines up in the slot a ton. He's a wide receiver.
yeah.
He's an oversized wide receiver.
Yeah.
He's good.
He's like
He's a matchup problem.
It's like the opposite of Chase Claypool. It's like Gesicki got named a tight end. You know what I mean?
And
but like
Claypool,
you could make Claypool
they try
the
to make,
argument.
Yeah, they try to make him one. They try to make him a tight end.
Right.
It's wild.
All right, this is my start. I got Jonnu Smith. This might be an obvious one to some, but
not always.
I don't. I think some people might be writing off Jonnu Smith as not the guy, but I think Jonnu Smith is going to come back this week and fucking do great going up against the Jaguars. The Jaguars are one of the worst
teams in the
against
league.
one of the worst against the tight end position. They've allowed 9 touchdowns to the tight end position on the year. It's a pretty decent amount. I think Jonnu Smith finds the end zone at least once in this game. It could be ugly. It could be 3 for 20 and a touchdown. It could be 2 for 30 and 2 touchdowns. But I think that Jonnu Smith becomes the guy in the red zone they lean on, and I think it's a great matchup. You light him up. It sucked he was out last week, but this team I think targets a tight end the most in the league. At least it was that way early in the season, and you could see it with last week. I think Anthony Frisker, the backup, came in there and had actually I think like 50 yards and 5 receptions. So that being said, man, yeah, fucking light up Jonnu Smith, dude.
Yeah.
It's a great one. All right, let's go. Logan Thomas. Is this a start or a sit? This is a sit right here, right?
That's a start.
Is it a start?
Yeah.
I don't know why I was.
My sit was Waller.
Oh yeah, that's right.
It's all good. I'll go in. Ow. Ready? No. Yeah,
That's
Logan,
what. Okay, yeah.
No, yeah, Logan Thomas, I mean, started off he started off pretty good, getting a lot of targets and kind of fizzled off, and now he's back. He's averaging 12 half-point PPR points in the last 6 games. So, I mean, that's a good sample size as far as for consistency. He has 4 touchdowns in that 6-game span, and he's coming off a career game, 9 targets, 9 catches, 98 yards, and a touchdown. I mean, he's a big body, 6'6", 6'7". I mean, the Washington football team is 3-1 under Alex Smith. He's looking his way. I mean, he's been productive. He's low key the tight end 8 on the season. He's reached the TRF magical 5 touchdown threshold. I mean, yeah, he's
throwing touchdowns.
He's throwing touchdowns, chucking balls into the crowd because he played quarterback.
Nice.
I mean, yeah, no, he looks good. I mean, this is one of those guys where he's not the name, but he's been putting up the numbers to where you're not crazy for playing him because he's been doing his thing. And the thing is, he's raw to the position. He got drafted as a QB, so he's still learning. He's 27, but I mean, he could. Yeah, I mean, it looks like he's learning.
It takes tight ends sometimes a while to
for sure
get adjusted. I
mean, dude, think about it. He went from a quarterback to blocking. Like, that's nuts.
Yeah.
But now, no, it looks like he's hit his stride, and I mean, you get a top 10 tight end. Why the fuck not? They're playing the Niners. I mean, what the hell?
Yeah, like it.
Especially now with no Antonio Gibson, they might be passing more.
Yeah.
I don't know, coach.
Yeah, I mean, Alex Smith likes those little underneath. He played with Travis Kelce, he played with Vernon Davis, and back in the day.
So he's definitely known to hit his tight ends 1 or 2.
He likes his tight ends.
He likes the tight ends.
He likes tight buttholes too.
Oh, he does. He's a wide receiver.
All right, let's go sit. We got Darren Waller. This is pretty nuts, but I'm not mad at it. I like it.
All right, I got some heat.
All right, talk shit.
All right, so Colts, the number 1 pass defense against tight ends. So I went to look up. I was like, well, what have they done? So I was like, let me see. Last week, the tight end, 2 catches, 10 yards. Week before that, 2 tight ends collectively, 3 catches, 30 yards. They've only given up 1 touchdown in the last 5 games, and that was to Tanyan, and that's when it was like a broken extended play. If you remember, where Rodgers scrambled around and found Tanyan just wide open.
Yeah, I remember.
He had 5 for 44 and a touchdown. Tennessee, again, 2 tight ends, 3 catches, 19 yards. Week before that, Baltimore, 2 tight ends, had 7 catches for 68 yards. So I did the averages. The last 5 games, the Colts have given up 4 catches for 34 yards and a fifth of a touchdown, which ain't shit.
1/5.
So they're giving up 6.4 points and a fifth of a touchdown. That's not shit. And that's in a half-point PPR league. Obviously, you see Waller. I know I sound crazy, especially if you listen because I'm a Waller guy. But, yeah, I mean, 4 catches for 34 yards in a 5-game span, and they faced Mark Andrews, Jonnu Smith twice, Robert Tonyan. So they faced good guys, and they're locking them up.
Yeah, they only have one receiving touchdown from tight ends on the year. That's crazy.
And that's Tonyan. So
yeah.
And like I said, if I'm the Colts defense and we're game planning, we're in the defensive D-backs room, whatever. All I'm saying is just lock up Waller and let everybody else beat you. If you can just contain Waller and make Derek Carr find other targets, I think they'll be okay. But I mean, you saw last week Waller had 200 yards. I mean, dude isn't he? I would say he's a wide receiver, an oversized or an undersized wide receiver, but he's just as fast as a wide receiver, but as big as a tight end. So yeah, that's why I'm fading Carr, because they can just zone in or hone in on defending Waller and then letting everyone else win. But yeah, 4 for 34 through 5 games, and like you just said, 1 touchdown all year. I'm not. Hey, I'm just saying.
No, I'm with you.
Start him if you want, but don't be mad if he gets you like 4.
Yeah,
Yeah, don't expect 38.5 points like you got me last week. Just proceed with caution because we told you so.
Yeah, I like it, dude. I like it.
And he's a number 2 tight end. My boy, that's my quarterback.
Let's go sit Austin Hooper.
Yeah, the Austin Hooper is going to put up a pooper this week.
Another one. A pooper.
Oh!
Stinking.
But yeah, I mean,
smelly boy.
Ugh.
Since the Browns' Week 9 bye, I mean, the tight end group as like a whole, I mean, the last 4 games, 1 reception, 3, 4, and 3 receptions, and only 1 touchdown during that 4-game span. I mean, that's not good. They're not getting the volume. They're not getting the efficiency. He only has 2 touchdowns on the season, and in 8 of his 10 games so far, he's been held to under 50 yards. I mean, there's just no upside here. I mean, it's fantasy football. Of course, there's always a possibility to come out and put up a good game, but if I'm going to look at those numbers are gross, as Estancia would say. And, yeah, I want nothing to do with Austin Hooper this week. I'd be taking some shots on a lot of other guys rather than Austin Hooper.
Yeah.
He's going to put up a poopa.
Is it safe to say Austin Hooper is what we like to call a bust? What a bust. Yeah, definitely. Definitely a bust, dude. All right, let's go to my sit. We don't have a template for this, man. I put the Cardinals banner in here. I know. You're like, dude, who the fuck would play Dan Arnold? Maybe someone.
Hey, that's my boy. Chill out.
Maybe
you want to talk about an undersized tight end? That fool weighs 220. He's a tight end.
So listen,
that fool's tiny.
Cardinals tight end Dan Arnold last week puts up 29 fantasy points. I think that might be PPR. I can't remember what it is exactly.
He had 2 touchdowns, didn't he?
Yeah, it was nuts. I mean, it's just nuts. As you can see, the length of the highlights video is 25 seconds. So, but that being said, I just don't get cute and be like, oh yeah, if you're in a spot and you want to play somebody like a tight end, don't go Dan Arnold. All right, look elsewhere. Don't trust it.
I don't think he had a touchdown going into that game.
I think he had like 2 receptions going into that game.
I mean, I know he did good for them last year when they picked him up, but yeah, he definitely didn't have no tugs.
Yeah, so I'm just saying is like, don't look at this. You might be looking at the Giants defense. Giants are actually on the top end. They've only allowed 2 touchdowns to the tight end position on the year.
Because what's the name? Jabril Peppers. He's been balling.
Shuts it down. So don't look at that and be like, oh, okay, I can. 29 points. This might be a sneaky guy. Don't do it. It's not sneaky.
Don't get cute. You're not cute. You're ugly.
You're getting cute. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. All right.
Do it, man.
Don't fucking do it, bro.
Do it. Don't play yourself.
Hey, don't play yourself, guy. But yeah, so that is my sit for the tight end position. Dan Arnold for the Cardinals.
So we ain't mad at you.
Just people don't get too cute. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Honestly.
But that's all we got.
Is it I?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's the I button. It's the I.
Oh, well, then
key.
fuck it, dog. You know what I'm saying.
All right, that's it. That's been the AVG Fantasy Football Podcast, Season 3, Episode 80. Hopefully this helped you out. Hopefully you learned a lot. Like I said at the beginning, follow us on the Instagram, Twitter. Ask us your question in the comments down below. We'll answer them. Yeah.
Thank you for rocking with us all these weeks.
Yeah, seriously.
Listening.
Good luck to your playoffs.
Yeah, and if you listen to us and it works out, hit us up. And if it doesn't work out, don't hit our fucking line, all right? I'm just playing. As Mike would say, these big boys are out.
Yeah, these big boys are out.
Guadalajara.